many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, "Professor, can you help me fix my commander deck?" Well, actually, they asked me to pass it along to Jesse, but we both looked at it. And I do mean many. After our first installment of the Tolarian Community College Fixes Your Deck series, we opened up a channel on the TCC Discord server to solicit deck lists from fans who wanted some help tuning their personal commander decks. And wow, were there a lot of decks to choose from. Well over 250 players submitted decks this time around, ranging from all different colors, strategies, and brackets. For this video, we selected several decks that were submitted by you, the viewers, on the official TCC Discord. The TCC Discord features not only a section where you can submit your own decks for Jesse, myself, and the rest of the TCC team to try their hands at fixing in a future video, but it also has a 100% free-to-play webcam Magic section for you if you're looking to get webcam games of Commander or even 60 card formats like Pauper and Standard. Oh, you kids. Just go to discord.gg/Tolarian Community College to join, but in this video, we'll be giving a full analysis and overhaul to our selected commander decks, what's getting in each deck's way, and what we can change to make the deck perform better. Just like last time, both the original submitted deck list and our upgraded versions are available in this video's description. To our viewers at home, I urge you to understand that even though this may not be your own commander deck, which we are fixing here today, that just by watching and understanding both the process and the choices we made, you too may gain better insight into both deck building in general, as well as ways to identify how to fix your own commander decks. So without further ado, let's look at these commander decks, their power levels, and how to fix them up. But first, speaking of power level, ask yourself, what bracket is your mattress? Because if you're feeling low power and low energy, then you need to upgrade your sleep. And the Helix mattress is absolutely a game changer. Helix isn't just a trusted mattress brand. According to USA Today, it's the most trusted mattress brand of 2026, ranking first among 23,000 brands. Wow! But don't just take it from them. I've used a Helix mattress for years, and the Midnight Lux is the best sleep I've ever had. Getting better sleep shouldn't be stressful. That would be counterproductive. That's why Helix makes it easy by delivering your mattress straight to your door with free shipping anywhere in the United States. Each mattress comes with a limited lifetime warranty as well as a 120-night sleep trial, so you can test it out and make sure you love it. And if you don't, the Happy Helix guarantee means you can easily return or exchange it. But maybe that's not enough for you. Maybe you want to be bracket 4 instead of bracket 3. Maybe you need unlimited power! I am told that is a Star Wars reference. In that case, why stop at just a mattress? Why not take care of your head and neck as well with the Comfort Adjust Cooling Pillow? The Comfort Adjust Cooling Pillow is designed to improve your spinal alignment in order to help relieve head and neck pain. And if your needs change over time, you can adjust it to your preferred level of comfort and firmness, ensuring you can sleep through the night and wake up feeling refreshed. And best of all, Helix is running a 4th of July sale. Just scan the QR code or follow my link at helixsleep.com/Tolarian and you'll get 20% off on anything on the site. And be on the lookout for additional sales there as well. So don't settle for a bracket 1 mattress. Upgrade your sleep with Helix Sleep. And thank you, Helix, for sponsoring this video. So what commander deck are we fixing up first? Well, let's begin with an Orzhov Vampires and Angels theme deck headlined by Liesa, Shroud of Dusk. This Liesa deck was submitted by Discord user Knoxville, a newer player who said it's been a struggle to get the deck to flow. Ideally, they'd like the deck to be able to compete with the other bracket 3 decks in their pod. Thank you for submitting your deck, Knoxville. Let's see if we can get it into bracket 3 shape. Liesa, Shroud of Dusk, is a popular commander from the original Commander Legends. She's a 5/5 angel for 2 generic, 2 white, and a black mana. She's got a special ability for paying commander tax. Rather than paying 2 extra mana for each instance of the tax, instead you'll pay 2 life that many times. Liesa has flying, lifelink, and she drains players for 2 whenever they cast a spell, including yourself, mind you. Liesa is a flexible commander that doesn't necessarily push your 99 in any particular direction, though life gain is a soft requirement given you need to recoup the life you lose from casting spells. Knoxville has chosen to lean into Liesa's angel-type line and her thematic association with vampires through her life drain effect. Looking over the deck list, there are a lot of things Knoxville is doing right already. The curve is great for bracket 3, with plenty of 1 and 2 mana spells for the early game, and a few choice big spells for the late game. There's a combo finish in the deck list in the form of Sanguine Bond and Exquisite Blood, with added redundancy for Sanguine Bond in Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. There's also no shortage of high-quality removal spells. Everything from sweepers like Damn and Split Up to premier spot removal like De-Spark and, of course, Swords to Plowshares. The density of removal is actually the first place where we'll start to make some cuts. Removal is incredibly important in Commander, especially once you get into bracket 3, where there will be tons of high-priority targets on all sides of the field. That being said, it's important not to overload on removal. You can't just spend all your resources answering your opponent's cards one for one while not really developing your own game plan. This is true regardless of who your commander is, but it's especially true in a Liesa deck, where not only are you spending a card each time you interact with an opponent, but you're spending 2 life as well. There are 16 total removal spells in this deck. That's more than a quarter of the non-lands in the 99. We are going to start by cutting out several of these to make room for more proactive cards, and a few others we'll be upgrading with more powerful options. The next issue I'm noticing on the list is that there is a lot of tension between the Angels and Vampires themes. There's very little mechanical middle ground between these 2 kindred strategies, aside from their access to life gain synergies. As a result, many of your draws that contain a mix of Angels and Vampires will feel a lot less streamlined than the other decks at the table. So we're going to clean up the creature suite by focusing on this overlap and trimming some of the less cohesive themes. For instance, the list includes a minor sacrifice sub-theme that looks out of place with a lot of the rest of what you've got going on. Aristocrats is a powerful and fun strategy in Commander, but the archetype requires so many moving pieces that it's difficult to make it work unless you go all in. I would recommend avoiding Aristocrats cards other than those that can function outside of an Aristocrat's capacity. Blood Artist and its big brother Vein Ripper, for instance, are examples of Aristocrats cards that also trigger off of opponents' creatures dying. These are great fits with Liesa's Punisher element of keeping your opponent's life totals low. Lastly, there are a lot of cards in this deck list that are too low impact in Commander. Onyx Goblet is the card that sticks out the most to me, but there are all sorts of other examples throughout the various categories of cards in the list. Mirrodin Avenged, Segovian Angel, Martyr of Dusk, Vampire Nighthawk. These cards do not pull their weight on power level relative to some of the stronger cards in your list, like Dark Ritual or Charismatic Conqueror. So now that we've identified what we're taking out, what are we adding in? The biggest thing missing from the list is card flow. As it stands, this deck is quite likely to be stuck in top deck mode after the early turns. There are a number of ways to go up on cards in Orzhov colors, from recursion to card advantage engines to raw card draw spells. Phyrexian Arena, for instance, is the kind of card most bracket 3 black decks should be looking at as a way to keep your hands stocked. It's also a great way to convert some of that life you're gaining into card advantage. Another excellent card at doing this is Well of Lost Dreams. As I said, this deck will be helped greatly if we can replace some of these less proactive removal spells with threats that also advance the game plan. Specifically, we'd like some creatures that provide card advantage or that exist in that overlapping life gain synergy space. For starters, Amalia Benavides Aguirre is a must-include for your list. A 2-mana play that gets larger as the game progresses, provides card selection, and clears your lands from the top of your deck is exactly the kind of card you want to be casting in the early game. And she's even a vampire! Speaking of vampires, Scheming Silvertongue is a new card from Secrets of Strixhaven that provides you with a repeatable source of card advantage by offering you a Sign in Blood every main phase 2. Twilight Prophet provides you with a Phyrexian Arena-style extra card each upkeep, while also gaining you life and attacking your opponent's life totals. Also, under the Angels and Vampires umbrella are additional payoffs for your life gain synergies. Bloodthirsty Conqueror provides redundancy for your exquisite blood combo kill at 5 mana. Archangel of Thune turns your life gain triggers into an ever taller board of creatures. Meanwhile, Resplendent Angel and Valkyrie Harbinger grow your board wider when you gain large chunks of life in a turn. And finally, if you're willing to stray a little from the Angels and Vampires theme, there are a lot of great creatures for a Liesa deck with other creature types. Soul Warden, Soul's Attendant, and Suture Priest, for instance, are cheap creatures that keep the life gain flowing throughout the game. Combal, Consul of Allocation, is another source of life gain that also leans into Liesa's Punisher ability. For the complete deck list upgrade, check out the links in this video's description. Please don't be discouraged by the high number of changes we've made to this list. There are truly so many things to learn as a new player to Commander, especially in regards to deck building. But legitimately, the deck you were already working with hit a lot of important key points that newer players so often struggle with. The low curve, the removal density, and the commitment to running a responsible number of lands are all signs that you've got great instincts to keep building upon as you get more experience playing this great game. Next up, we have an Izzet Spells and Otters deck led by the very sweet Bloomborough legend, Alania Divergent Storm. This deck was submitted by Discord user Arrow, a returning player who was inspired to build around Alania when a friend gifted him the shell of the deck. Apparently, the mana base has been inconsistent and the spells aren't having the desired effect. He says he's targeting either bracket 3 or bracket 4. Let's see if we can get this deck up to a 4. Alania Divergent Storm is a 3/5 Otter Wizard for 3 generic and 1 of each Izzet mana. Whenever you cast a spell, if it's the first instant, sorcery, or otter spell other than Alania you've cast this turn, you may have target opponent draw a card. If you do, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Alania's ability is outstanding in the context of Commander. Not only is the drawback of giving an opponent a card significantly watered down when 2 other opponents don't get jack squat, but you can use the extra card as a political fodder to curry favor. Meanwhile, the upside is tremendous. You can double up to 3 cards per turn with its ability, and if you cast spells on your opponent's turns, you can double up on them there too. Right off the bat, I see what Arrow means when he says the spells aren't giving him what he needs. There are some great includes here, such as the fearsome Crackle with Power, the all-time great Dig Through Time, and of course the obligatory Time Warp. Electro Dominance and Daring Wave Rider are awesome too, and Alania copies not only the spells themselves, but also the extra spell you use them to cast, provided in Electro Dominance's case that you're casting a sorcery rather than another instant. But these cards need some help. All told, there are 39 total instant sorceries and otters in the list that are eligible to be copied by Alania. That may sound like a lot, but the number is misleading. For a number of different reasons, many of the copyable spells aren't actually copyable. Kitsa, Otterball Elite, for instance, is legendary, so making 2 of them isn't exactly productive. Mystical Tutor and Personal Tutor, while powerful cards, especially in bracket 4, can't be effectively effectively copied. You'll search your library for the spell you want, shuffle your deck, then put the card on top. Then you'll do that again, shuffling away the spell you put on top with the first copy. And finally, the counter spells, protection spells, and certain sweepers like Aetherize are all going to be unnecessary to copy more often than not. When you subtract these cards from the total number of copyable ones, the list drops to just 28 spells that can be profitably copied, which is 44% of the non-lands. That's not to say the deck shouldn't include counter magic, sweepers, or tutor effects. It's just that we need to be mindful of how many of these effects we are running, so that there's enough room left over for the spells that our deck is designed to enable. I'd love to bring us closer to 60% of the deck as copyable effects if possible. In other words, between 35 and 40 cards total. By cutting cards like Aetherize, Personal Tutor, and Get Out, and replacing them with higher impact spells, the power level of the deck will increase dramatically, and fast. I'd also like to cut some of the artifacts, enchantments, and non-otter creatures. Arcane Bombardment, Propaganda, and Price of Glory, while individually fairly strong, are not very synergistic with the rest of the game plan. Commander's Sphere is too slow of a mana rock these days, while Gutter Snipe and Fiery Inscription are better suited for a deck that's casting a flurry of different spells. A deck that's focused around copying spells is going to get more bang for its buck by focusing on casting just a few big ones. For higher impact spells to add, there are a number of different types we can include. We'll be getting a couple more otters in there, the excellent card advantage Critter Thundertrap Trainer being the most important, as well as the potent win condition Storm Splitter. For instance, Flame of Anor is basically always going to get cast for 2 modes in this deck. Lightning Bolt and Pongify are great flexible removal spells to copy, as are Factor Fiction and Big Score for additional card advantage. Moving on to sorceries, there are several great ones that are absent from this list. Flow State and Expressive Iteration are highly efficient card advantage spells when copied, and can also serve to smooth your draw earlier in the game before you have Alania in play. Stock Up and Treasure Cruise are absurdly powerful even on their own, but get so much better when doubled up. Solve the Equation is a better tutor effect to copy than Personal Tutor, since you actually get to keep both cards. Finally, I'd love to see another extra turn spell like Alrun's Epiphany or Karn's Temporal Sundering. We're also going to add 2 cards that aren't copyable but are strong enough to be worth including on their own merit. Harmonic Prodigy and Archmage Emeritus are both excellent creatures for squeezing extra juice out of Alania's ability. The last major issue we'll address with the list is the mana base. Arrow mentioned he was dissatisfied with his lands as things stand right now. By my evaluation, he's running about the right number of them, 36 currently, but there are certainly some weaker inclusions among them, most notably the tap lands. If you're able to spring for them, some number of blue fetch lands would go a long way towards shoring up this weakness, while also increasing your access to the powerful Mystic Sanctuary. I'd also recommend cutting 3 Tree City. While a very strong land in a true Kindred deck, this deck isn't really trying to go wide with otters, so you'll rarely be generating much extra mana. One more note before we wrap up Arrow's deck. If the goal really is to reach bracket 4, we're going to need a lot more game changers. Right now we only have 3: Mystical Tutor, Cyclonic Rift, and Jessica's Will. Izzet has access to a ton of great game changers, most of which will be good in your deck if you choose to include them. The complete revamp of this list is linked in this video's description. I did not include any additional game changers in the upgraded version, so I would consider this a high bracket 3 deck rather than a bracket 4 deck. The next deck we are going to discuss today is a Golgari Graveyard Recursion deck headlined by the very popular Meren of Clan Nel Toth. This deck was submitted to us by Discord user Mintu, who found it stuck in the middle range, where it's too strong for bracket 2, but too anemic for bracket 3. She wants it to stay a mid-range deck if possible, rather than incorporating a combo finish. This tells me right off the bat she has good taste. So let's take a look at what Mintu built. Meren of Clan Nel Toth is a classic commander. A 3/4 for 2 generic and 1 of each Golgari mana, Meren uses the experience experience mechanic to recur creatures from your graveyard, either to your hand or the battlefield, depending on how many experience counters you have. She is a favorite among many Magic the Gathering players like Mintu, who enjoy the grindy gameplay offered by the Golgari color pair. Honestly, Mintu's deck is already in fantastic shape. It's got a ton of self-mill creatures like Stitcher's Supplier and Satyr Wayfinder, ways to rack up experience counters with sack outlets like Umbral Collar's Zealot and Woe's Strider, and some awesome top-end creatures to reanimate, including Archon of Cruelty and Colossal Grave Reaver. I love that she's prioritized creatures over all other card types, as 39 of the 64 non-land cards in the deck list are creature cards. That's not to say there isn't room for improvement, however. After all, Mintu herself said that she felt the deck was too slow to compete in Bracket 3. The biggest issue I can see is that there are several creatures that technically synergize with the recursive element of the deck, but aren't really powerful enough to warrant their spot in the list. Teacher's Pest, for instance, is technically a card you can recur from your graveyard, but is paying 2 mana for a 1/1 with Menace really worth it? Timeline Color has a similar issue. There are just so many other things I'd rather spend mana on than warping a 2/2 with haste, even when our sacrifice synergies are online. Dredger's Insight might look like an additional copy of Satyr Wayfinder at first glance, but the fact that it's not a creature itself is disqualifying for inclusion in the list. There are also several examples of the deck running too many copies of a worthwhile effect. While I absolutely love including Sakura Tribe Elder, Wood Elves, and Summon Fenrir as repeatable ramp creatures in tandem with Meren, I don't think we also need Studious First Year. Molt Tender does indeed have the words mill a card on it, but the ability is very slow, and I think we already have enough 1-mana dorks without it. Insidious Fungus can be repeatably sacrificed as well, but 2 mana is too steep of an investment to pay over and over. Finally, I never thought I'd say this, but I also think we have too much card draw. The nature of this deck is you'll be getting a ton of value out of your repeatable graveyard recursion, so we need to be spending our mana to affect the board rather than fill our hand. I think we can trim a couple of these. Death Reap Ritual, Dark Confidant, and Phyrexian Arena can probably go. Yes, I know I just recommended adding Phyrexian Arena to the other black deck in this video, but in this particular context, I don't think the raw card draw the Arena provides is necessary. There are a lot of unique utility creatures that are great to recur with Meren that I noticed are missing from the list. By far the most glaring exclusion is Spore Frog, an important deterrent for opposing aggression. A repeatable fog effect sitting in play will make your more aggressive opponents think twice about sending creatures your way. Ravenous Chupacabra is a great spot removal creature that can keep the board clear of your opponent's scariest creatures. The same is true of Acidic Slime and Cankerbloom for non-creature permanents. Disciple of Freyalise is a great big creature to recur that can also provide you with a land drop in a pinch. And finally, the sad robot Solemn Simulacrum himself can provide the same ramp that Wood Elves and Summon Fenrir offer, but with the additional card draw bonus when he dies. Moving away from recursion creatures, I would love to get a Sir Conrad the Grim into the 99 in order to capitalize on all the self-mill the deck does. And finally, I'd swap the lone game changer in the deck list, Necropotence, for something with greater synergy like an Orcish Bowmasters. Really though, I don't think that Mintu's deck is that far off from where it needs to be to hold its own in Bracket 3. Once again, you can take a look at the fully upgraded deck list in this video's description to see how close you were to start with. And there you have it, the second installment of TCC Fixes Your Deck, the first of which can be viewed here. But whether you are one of the 3 viewers whose decks were highlighted in this video, in that video, someone else with a similar deck of your own, or simply someone who learned something about the deck tuning that you could apply to a different commander entirely, I hope very much this video has been of some help to you. You can help me out just by leaving a comment, hitting subscribe, or watching another video. Both the season finale and season premiere of Shuffle Up and Play are up, so from Cosmonaut Marcus and Ristic Study's return to Moist Critical and Slimesicle's return, you can watch those commander games here or linked in this video's description. And remember, if you do want to submit a deck for our next episode in this series, just do so on the TCC Discord, which has its 100% free Looking for Webcam Games section as well. So whether you want to play Commander, play 60 card, or just take a chance at one of us tooling up your deck, check out the TCC Discord, linked in this video's description or right here.
Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
What's up? It's Shuffle Up and Play, and today it's the Cool Prof episode in which I have brought a 5th augment deck of Cool Prof cards. Whenever you play a non-token creature, a Cool Prof card will attach to that creature, and then you read the card to explain what happens.
Hit mechanic stickers?
I put the hat on my twink and pass.
Okay, I am going to cast Ms. Bumbleflower.
All right. Boom.
What? This creature has cumulative upkeep $1.
That's a Doom Blade.
Wow, I didn't know the channel was in that much trouble.
Airplane mode. Whenever your phone rings, this creature deals 1 damage to you. No one calls me, so suck it.
Wait.
I'll tell you the truth. I'm more scared of this Eidolon than I am of that thing. Yeah. Play 3 visits.
This guy commanders.
This is a ball knower right here.
Wait, I thought it was called Booster Blitz. What a conundrum.
There's a sub-game.
It's clockwise.
Rebel, you pro.
You want to do it again?
It would start with me, go Prof, then Rebel.
Why does it have to start in a certain place?
Oh, clockwise from where?
Rebel.
I don't know.
Rebel takes damage.